Hi, this is Ryan O'Neill here from Haunted Scotland. As promised, a small video with regards to Echovox System 3.0. Now, as we know, this is a new upgraded version that has come out very recently. Now, there is big differences in this. I mean, the whole principle is the same as before, and you can check the older video. The settings are still easily used, you know, from this new device. It just looks slightly different. There's much more options available in this one, but the basic thing is the same. We're looking for coherence to come through the device, to use the phonetics and things that are already there, for some sort of coherence, to reorder them into something that can be used with relevance to the person using Echovox and also the location that is being investigated at the time. So, as we can see, it's really had a facelift in this one. So the whole channel blend now has 6 channels in there, and I'll just move closer here so you can see that. So you've got A, B, C, D, E and F in there now. Now I like this very, very much because we now can make things even more random than before. The more channels, the more randomness, the better the quality of evidence when it does come. I've heard lots of things in the past from skeptics and pseudo-skeptics who have said that you know, there's words embedded in here and this is what we're getting, or you know, it's just the brain looking for patterns and what it wants to hear. And I reject this, you know, because I've been in the company of 10 people at a time listening to Echovox, and we have clearly heard words, swearing, names, relevance coming through. It's not tricking all our brains. Number 2, this app is basically being ripped apart by skeptics and pseudo-skeptics looking for these illusionary words that are in there, and nobody has come forward with any firm evidence that any such thing is going on. So I wouldn't listen. I've used this for 2 years now, and I've been to many locations. I've used it on events, I've used it on the TV, and there is nothing to suggest that I have wasted my time at all. You know, putting up the videos that have been put up and sharing the evidence. Nobody's come forward and refuted anything that I've shared, apart from a few pseudo-skeptics, people who think they're skeptics but they're not in the true sense. You know, they're running from belief systems. A few may have come forward and said it's a lot of rubbish, but when probed further into it, we find out that they've not even purchased this and they haven't even used it, and they're just running from what they think is happening rather than what they know is happening, which can only be brought forward through personal experience. So back to the Echovox System 3.0. Same thing again, you know, we've got the channel blend, and you've got your start button here, the much noticeable Echovox symbol in the middle here. So when we slide into the right hand panel, and I'm going to try and get closer because you may not see this properly, there is clear differences in here now, as you can see. We have the auto blend still. Echo is not in this side any longer. We have shuffle, which shuffles through the channels at a great randomness. You know, it ain't just spinning like we're used to seeing on the 2 series, you know, where it spins around, blends that way. This is blending, but it's also shuffling, you know, much like your music on your applications that you use, your audio players and things, and it's doing the same thing. And I really like this because anybody who watches my videos, anybody who knows the great randomness I like, will understand why I go for this. You know, I want to make it so random that if anything comes through this, it's very, very significant and cannot be put down as something embedded in there, you know, like a phrase or a sentence or anything like that. So you've got your auto blend, you've got your shuffle, and then you've got channel shuffle speed. So you can slow it down or you can speed it up. Now, personally, I speed it up. You know, I like things running fast. On this angle, I want it just to use very, very quick snippets of the sliced audio that's actually in there. And this again is just my mindset for keeping things as random as possible, so that when something organised comes through that randomness, I know I have something that's quite significant. If we look down here, and again I'm going to move it in, these are for your load file. Share your file, which you can get uploaded. Play back your captures if you're on location, that's fantastic if you want to hear what's there, and then probe further into it by using some of the feedback. So if you get a name, you listen back, you could hear it, you could do another session and use that name to try and entice more communication through it. Rewind, fast forward, self-explanatory, stop, pause, reverse, another good one, because sometimes we get audio that's actually reversed. You know, why this happens, I do not know, but you know, it does happen. I've heard so many great captures that when you put in reverse, it is very clear, very clear. This is why it is always better to analyse your audio through some sort of software. Now you could obviously do it this way, but it's even better if you put it into your software and start doing it that way. This is great for on location. It's great if you're mobile, where you can change the playback speed, which is a big one. Always slow down your recordings. Use the reverse, and basically what you can do is you can do most of the things that we do through the analysis, but you can do it quickly so that you can hear on location, or in my case for things like when I was doing TV work lately, I had to access the files fast so that I could let the producer and that hear what was going on. And it's now that this is here, this is a great improvement into things. So get familiar with the playback controls and use them to your advantage fully. And this will save, you know, hooking up to a laptop or up to a PC and then having to do analysis and then going back to your sessions, which I've had to do sometimes on events, and it's quite time consuming. So Danny's done a great thing here. He has given you the tools to be very mobile, very fast, and to get right into the action. So we'll go over to the other side. Now, these 6 speed controls here with on and off, this relates to each channel. You know, so you've got your channels, your 6 channels, and then you've got your speed. Now, again, anyone who knows me knows that on this side of the speed, I'd like to randomise it down. So I may have it, the first channel there, the second channel there, the third channel there, and you get the point, all the way down. Now, you can also switch channels off, if you like. So if you say, yeah, I'm just going to randomise it, I'll use the first one, the third one, the fifth one, that can be done as well. So again, it's all about randomise. Listen, no two people are going to have the same setup and settings on the Echovox. Actually, the feedback coming through is never going to be the same. A few people may stumble across the same settings, but you know, it's really up to you how you wish to do it. There is no proper settings. I've been on location with people and investigators who look into my settings as if to say, you know, let me see what you got so that I can do the same, and I discourage it. You know, you don't really want to be doing that. You want to find your own settings, and there's nothing special about what I use, and I'm very careful to say that. Most of my work comes through, and the great captures is through the way that I communicate and the analysis process. I'm not just uploading the raw file and leaving it that. I am actually doing some of the legwork and you know, going through the recordings very carefully to see what's there and finding those hidden gems that are in there, the raw EVP, Class A EVPs, and then also the ones that have been formed senses through the phonetics coming through the device itself. So set your speed controls. So that is a must. You may prefer it to be faster. I prefer it slower, and then again I slow it down when I'm using Adobe Audition, so that I can hear exactly what's going on. If you go down here, you can see here is your echo, so it's no longer over on this panel, it's in here. You record, obviously to record, self-explanatory. So you would start your echo on this side. Now, feedback is a thing you're going to have to watch for. When you start it, especially something like this tablet, where you have to use some sort of external speaker system. Now, personally, I use a Bluetooth speaker. I should have had it here on the desk for you to see, but I'll grab it in a sec. And basically, I keep the speaker away from it. Now, there is some people who say not to use the Bluetooth speaker. I'm afraid that I do. I reject it. I get great captures through it. Again, this is personal desire of each person. Some people will use it. Some people will use a plugged-in, wired in a speaker. I like using the Bluetooth because at the same time as grabbing communication, sometimes I can hear interference coming through the speaker, and I usually know that something significant is happening around about that time. So I use little clues in the environment and through the devices we use for that. So you've got a mic gain here, so you would have to play about with this. Obviously, the higher you've got it, usually the greater the feedback that you'll get coming into the system, even with the Bluetooth device, I have to add. So you really have to set this to where you want it. Again, there is no proper settings. You play around with it until you get your recording that it can sound clear, so that you don't have too much feedback, and you just go from there. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So yeah, that's it. You've got echo delay as well, the same as delay before. You understand how that happens. You know, you can speak and you can hear it later. I'll keep everything as live as possible on 0 milliseconds. So yeah, that is the sense. There is not a great deal on those two side panels that you don't already know if you've been using Echovox. Where the difference seems to come in is if you go into the reverb. Now this is a new setup we have here. I'll be honest with you, I have not used it yet. I've played around with it a little bit. Reverb, I think, is basically the persistence of sound after the sound is produced. So to me, initially I would say it would be really good for possibly the analysis process. You'll be able to hear the words, you're going to hear it. You know, if you've heard how reverb works, you understand completely. I think it's a cool sound that you get from it. Do I think that Spirit can use it any easier than what's already here? No. I think that the whole Echovox series that's come out has always been great, and what you're able to do with it. And I think, although this enhances it, you know, enhances the sound and different settings, and again it's more randomness, I don't think anything on here will make it easier or more difficult to have communication of any sort. So again, you can play around with this, whatever you prefer. I've not really used it yet. I'm still getting captures coming through the Echovox. I've done 2 castles in the last week, and it seems to be working. It's taken me a little while to get into it and just fine tune my settings with the new ones that are here, but yeah, the setup's the same. So when you start your recording, first thing that'll pop up on your screen, you can now name your file. So you'll name your file. For instance, if I was at a local castle, I would name it the castle. If I was in the office here, I would name it home office test. You would come in. Now again, it's up to you, but I would go auto blend and shuffle. The speed would be put up to the highest possible randomness, and then I would move that back in. Now as you can see, rather than this round dial, it's going back and forward. It is very, very random and excellent for this kind of work. Over here, now I've already set them as I was speaking, so great randomness there as well. Then I would go down here and I'd push start, and we can hear that feedback coming straight away. I would then adjust this. Now, I do not have this set up to an external speaker just now. Samsung Galaxy here that I have has a speaker far too close to the microphone on the bottom, and you're going to get this effect. Okay? So it's really, you've got to be hooked up, or turn that off, whatever way you want to do it. And then you start doing your questions. So try not just to make it yes and no questions. I mean, you can put them in there, but try to stay along the lines of trying to get names. Try to get the name of the location you're in. Try to get your name called out. Try to get dates and think of ways you can do that. For instance, who is the king or queen, or who is the president, and then see what the feedback is, and then double check when that person was in office or sat on the throne or whatever. And this will get you dates so that you're not just having to listen to things like 1934. You could actually find out who the president was at that time. You go and look, and it works out quite fine that way. And try and be creative. You know, things like, is there anything you would like to tell us? And leave a gap. Leave 30 seconds or 20 seconds gap so they can answer you. I hear many people who do it wrong, and they start shouting, you know, as they hear things, and they keep asking questions and don't give enough time. You have to give enough time for answers to come in so you can analyse it and share your work and then build upon that. If you just keep talking, it's going to be pointless, you know. And let's put it another way: if this is real, true spiritual communication that's coming through here, do you think they're going to stick around if you keep talking? You've got to take that into consideration as well. So leave a gap. Be very mindful as well when you do your analysis process. It is going to take you roughly around about 45 to minutes to an hour to analyse about 5 minutes of a recording, if you do it properly and thoroughly. I mean, you can skip through and pick out the most noticeable. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You can do that, but if you want to take it to that next level, you really are going to have to dive deep in. You're going to have to look on the, when you're using the programs, you're going to have to look between the sound waves and all the smaller ones and see what's there. I've had some great captures in there, and it's quite time consuming. So keep that in mind. If you're out on location and you're doing an investigation like at a castle, you know, keep it to 10 minutes per session, 5 minutes per session in a couple of areas. And don't think that more is more. You know, less is more. I've done 2-minute sessions before and pulled out 10 captures. You know, if they want to communicate with you, they will. Trust me. You won't have to go on and on and on and on. When I'm on events, yeah, I do. You know, it's 1 hour worth of a session because I'm working with the public. That takes me blooming ages to go through. So I've got to be less on the scrutinised part in between, and just pick out the ones that were quite evident at the time and through the listen back. So keep that in mind. But if you're doing it in the house, you know, again, 5-10 minutes here and there. If you've done 5 minutes, you could have it recorded, analysed, video created, all in an evening, and that's fine. You could share that and just keep going that way. But don't get lazy. You know, don't fall into the lazy trap. You know, be thorough and put your whole soul into it if you're going to do it, and share your results, and you know, seek out people who are using it and getting results as well, and ask them how they're doing it, what advice you could get, and build upon that. And then at the same time, if you're getting great results, share it. You know, I never thought I would be sitting making videos about Echovox. I thought I would just be making my location videos, which is just music and video and pictures. But I'm doing this for a reason. I'm doing this because I want to share the information so people can go and gain similar results to what I'm getting and share it as well. So keep that in mind. Finally, if you're using the Echovox and you're uploaded to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and you get skeptics, pseudo-skeptics, coming and trolling on the channel, ignore them. Completely ignore them. It's not worth the time and effort. The time and effort to reply to these people could be better served doing another session, or making more videos, or communicating with like-minded people who can help you improve your work, or you can help improve their work, and really diving deep. The same again for if there is any, you know, bickering about which device is better than which device, or you know, applications and spirit boxes and all this, don't get involved. You know, just keep to your work. We're in the game here of trying to prove that Afterlife is there to try and gain communication and understand and grow together. Don't get caught up in the drama. You know, it's pointless. There's bigger purposes and bigger pictures to be adhered to here, and it's not along the lines of drama to that extent. So just keep soldiering on and do what you do best, and that is discovery and using devices like this and helping each other. So I hope that small video just takes away confusion of the Echovox System 3.0. I'm sure Danny will have great videos coming out, as will others in the community, and they will be able to dive deeper, possibly into more sense if you need it. But all in all, it's very easy to use. Get your settings sorted out. Don't be daunted because there is different areas here. It's very simple still to use, and experiment. There is no correct answers, there's no correct settings, and anybody who tells you that there is any of this are not being entirely truthful, or they don't understand that there isn't. So best of luck on your videos, and I will try to get around as many channels as possible to check how people are getting on, and I look forward to seeing how people are doing with their captures and what new ideas they are pushing forward as we move forward with things like Echovox System 3.0 and other EVP capture devices. Thank you, and I will speak real soon.